Hi, and welcome to How to Improve Science Performance Through Strategic Note-Taking.
This begins our lesson on velocity and acceleration. You may already know that speed is how fast something is going. We use a speedometer in a car to measure speed. If the speedometer reads 80 kilometers per hour, that means the car will travel 80 kilometers in 1 hour. That is a measure of speed. Let's quickly review speed. It is important to remember speed is the rate at which something changes position. Remember, speed is the rate at which something changes position. Now, if we measure the speed and direction, that is called velocity. So note, velocity is the measure of speed and a given direction. Every time you change speed or direction, your velocity changes. You should also write down that we represent velocity with a symbol. The symbol for velocity is a lowercase letter v. Also remember that we use metric units in science class. And units look like speed, but always followed with a direction. So an example would be 5 meters per second south. It's like this. Traveling 80 kilometers in 1 hour measures speed. 80 kilometers per hour states the speed of this car. Now add a direction, and speed becomes velocity. 80 kilometers per hour east. Remember, anytime you define the direction, it's a velocity. In this example, the car starts off from home and changes speed. You can see the car was traveling 50 kilometers per hour and slowed down as it approached a left turn to 10 kilometers per hour. After making the turn, the car sped up to 25 kilometers per hour before merging onto the highway. In this situation, speed and direction both changed, making this an example of acceleration. Acceleration is a change in motion. You should know a change in motion means a change in speed or direction. So each time you change speed or direction, it is acceleration. It is important for you to know acceleration is the amount of change of velocity per unit of time. Note the unit of acceleration is meters per second per second. Like other terms, acceleration also has a symbol. We use a lowercase letter a to represent acceleration. Next, look at these 3 examples of acceleration. Each of the 3 cars travel in a different motion. The first car starts at 30 kilometers an hour and speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour. The speed is changing, so this is acceleration. The second car. The car's motion is a curve, but the speed stays the same, 60 kilometers per hour, over the entire trip. However, the direction is changing. If the direction is changing, this is acceleration. The third car is moving fast, then slowing, and then comes to a stop. Again, the speed is changing, so velocity is changing. This is also an accelerated motion. Please write this down. Acceleration equals change in velocity divided by change in time. This is the formula for acceleration. If you recall, change is represented by the Greek letter delta, which means change in. So the formula can also be written as A equals delta V divided by delta T. Acceleration equals change in velocity divided by change in time. How to calculate acceleration? Let's do a problem together. A cheetah accelerates from 2 meters per second to 16 meters per second in 7 seconds. What is the cheetah's average acceleration? So write down the formula needed to solve the problem. A equals delta V divided by delta T. You should know to measure change, you subtract the initial velocity from the final velocity. This gives you change in velocity. Now, plug in the known information. A equals 16 meters per second minus 2 meters per second, which is 14 meters per second, and divide by 7 seconds. After solving, you should get an acceleration of 2 meters per second per second. This means that the cheetah's speed increases 2 meters per second every second it's running. Let's review one last time. Velocity is the measure of speed and a given direction. Its symbol is a lowercase v, and the units of velocity are speed in a direction. Meters per second, say north. Acceleration is the amount of change of velocity per unit of time. The symbol for acceleration is a lowercase letter a. The unit of acceleration is meters per second per second. This concludes our lecture on velocity and acceleration.